and dying by the head of the Roman Catholic Church in Austria. I'll be back with more news later.
In half an hour, we're off to the Snetterton race circuit for rounds 13 and 14 of the Formula 4 Championships. That's on Motorsport UK after Cybernet.
You're watching Cybernet with me, Steve Truitt. Get ready for a light cycle showdown. Duel with a creature, create a huge splash, and fight for your very soul. Always the best, it's Cybernet. Welcome to the show. Has it really been 21 years since we were first dazzled by the cyberspace world of Tron? The high-tech effects were groundbreaking for its time, and now this unique movie has been transformed into an equally unique PC game called Tron 2.0. Fans of Tron will be thrilled to see that the ultra-stylish visuals from the film are faithfully recreated in the game. The graphical presentation is spot on, and all the best action moments from the movie are included, such as the Fast and Furious disc battles and the high-speed light cycle races. The story takes place about 20 years after the events of the movie. Players get to control Jet Bradley, the son of Alan Bradley, who created the Tron program. When his father goes missing, Jet is beamed into the computer realm to find him and confront the evil forces planning to take over the world's computer systems. As a neat tie-in, the original Tron, Bruce Boxleitner, reprises his role as Alan Bradley.
Who are you? What is the meaning of all of this?
Making Tron 2.0 a reality was the job of the development team at Monolith Productions, who are best known for the excellent No One Lives Forever series. Like that title, the majority of this game is set in a first-person view. There are 30 high-tech levels, and all are jammed with computer-related elements including emails, PDAs, power routers, and even infected servers. The enemies which you'll come in contact with are also computer-related. You'll fight bits, bytes, resource hogs, ICP programs, and corrupted programs. To take on these viruses, you'll have 12 weapons, although most of the time your trusty flying disc is all you need. As a contrast to the first-person fights, there are several light cycle levels where you try to cut off your opponent on a giant game grid. The original cycles were designed by Sid Mead, who was hired back to create new ones for the game.
Anytime you try to do a second generation of something that was successful the first time around, you're in a challenging situation. And that's why when you do a game like Tron 2.0, the attention to detail, which in this particular release is phenomenal, is critical, because these kids that play these kinds of games are your harshest and most unforgiving critics.
Tron 2.0 scores with stunningly cool graphics highlighted by transparent textures, excellent character models, and neat animation sequences. And thanks to the minimal on-screen interface, you're never distracted by unnecessary visuals. Our biggest disappointment, however, is with the lackluster action. The fighting isn't as frantic or as frequent as we'd like, plus the enemy AI is a bit inconsistent. And we must admit, having to perform countless delicate jumps while in first-person mode proved to be quite a frustrating task. Tron 2.0 is a smartly produced game that manages to take a 21-year-old film and update it for a whole new audience. We would have liked a bit more excitement, but overall, this vision of a high-tech computer landscape is fantastic. We can't get enough of those awesome RTS battles in Aliens vs. Predator Extinction on the PlayStation 2. These are some really tough fights, and we bet you can use all the help you can get. So grab a pen and jot this down. Pause the game and press R1. R1. L1, R1, L1, L1, R1, L1, R1, R1, L1, R1, L1, L1, R1, and L1. You've just been given the ultimate code for this game because it unlocks the cheat mode. Now you can use any of the cheats available, such as invulnerability, level select, and power-ups. Move over, Pikachu, and take all your cutesy Pokemon animal pals with you. There's another Japanese franchise that's driving kids wild and their parents up the wall. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is everywhere these days, and now it makes its debut for the PlayStation 2 with the Duelists of the Roses. For those not familiar with card battle strategy games, Yu-Gi-Oh! Will be a bit confusing, so you might want to get some advice from a fan who collects the cards and watches the cartoons. The most important thing to know is that each card represents a monster or warrior, and they all have unique abilities that emphasize attack and defense powers. The setting might seem a bit odd for this kind of game, but it provides a rather intriguing historical backdrop. It takes place in 15th century England during the brutal War of the Roses. Players choose the House of Lancaster or the House of York and then fight through a campaign of card battling, spell casting action. Watching the more than 600 different monsters fight is one of the game's key attractions. To maximize your card's potential, though, you'll need a card selecting strategy. At the early stages, this will require a lot of trial and error, but eventually you'll become a Yu-Gi-Oh! Master. Once cards are selected, the battles take place on a grid with different squares representing different terrain. There are some cool effects here, and the monsters are nicely detailed, but we weren't impressed with the three-dimensional landscapes, and the opposing creatures don't exactly die with much fanfare. Although we can see a lot of effort went into the mechanics and interface of the Duelists of the Roses, the excessive dialogue, repetitive battles, and crummy AI all combine to create a rather dull title. While this game may appeal to dedicated Yu-Gi-Oh! Fans, this is one case where kids should just stick to the real thing. Time now for a look at the best of the best with Cybernet's Top 10 Xbox games. At number 10, when you're taking a drive in Midtown Madness 3, sidewalks, steps, and even parks become your road. It's time to take to the high seas with the awesome swashbuckling action of Pirates of the Caribbean at 9. At 8, 2 friends are better than 1, but 4 friends make quite a powerful team. It's the hardcore battle tactics of brute force. From riding motorbikes to shooting down enemy planes, you don't have to be a fan of the film to enjoy The Great Escape at 7. Attaching nitro boosts to your car can be dangerous, but it's also extremely fun. Let's rev our engines with Midnight Club 2 at 6. At number 5, don't send a man to do a demon's job, especially if you're battling the monsters of Otogi, Myth of Demons. Now you can finally find out which creatures are the toughest in the console RTS hit Aliens vs. Predator Extinction at 4. Sure, we love playing outlaw volleyball with beautiful girls, but while they're all pretty, they also pack quite a punch at 3. At 2, storming the Xbox, Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Island Thunder is quickly taking out the competition. But Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic is truly a force to be reckoned with, and our Xbox number 1. Ready to get wet? Then hit the water and rev up your engines. In this game, summer never ends, so pack a wetsuit and some sunscreen. It's time for the craziest sea-doo race on the beach, Splashdown 2 for the PlayStation 2. Dubbed by some as SSX Tricky on water, Splashdown was best known for its crazy environments and insane tricks. So, how does the sequel shape up?
Well, in Splashdown, we had 24 individual stunts, and you pulled off stunts in the air to add performance to your meter. Makes you go faster during the race. In this one, we decided to up the ante quite a bit. Now we have 66 individual stunts, but it's also a linking system. So whereas in the first game you had Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3 stunts, and they were all separate, and they were in increasing order of difficulty, now you can link from a Tier 1 stunt to Tier 2 stunts to Tier 3 stunts, and we've added in vehicle stunts as well, barrel rolls and backflips and flat spins, and you can combine those with the rider stunts. So all in all, it's 360 possible chains in the game.
And you'll have plenty of room to pull off those incredible stunts. The levels are much bigger this time around and offer plenty of obstacles to try out your best tricks. You'll also be able to play 4 different modes, including the usual arcade and career modes. There's also an option called the Warehouse, where you can buy new clothes and equipment. You can then put your new possessions on display when you race your friends in the Versus game. The PlayStation 2's vibrating controller greatly adds to the immersive experience when combined with the stellar wave physics.
So we gave you lots of huge waves now. It's a really chaotic, dynamic racing experience. We can do triggered waves, we can do dynamic waves, we can do downhill currents, we can do rapids. It's a much bigger experience than last time.
If you're a fan of the original Splashdown, we can't recommend this sequel more. It's improved in almost every way, resulting in a smooth yet frantically fun racing experience that has to be played to be believed. While many follow-ups pale next to the original, Splashdown 2 is anything but all wet. If you like the ocean, but that same old view is starting to bore you, then we've got your ticket for Wickboarding Unleashed that'll turn your little pond into the big sea on the PS2. So grab a pen and jot down this cheat. At the main menu, press square, 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 circle, 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 triangle, 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 square, circle, and triangle. Now with your travel visa approved, you can make a splash everywhere from Venice, Italy to Hong Kong Harbor because all 9 levels are unlocked. Just try not to get sunburned. Surf's up! Coming up, fight the ultimate battle, become a shapeshifter, and check out some cool game peripherals. Choose your weapons. We welcome you to the second half with one of the most eagerly anticipated titles of the year. When the original Soul Calibur was released for the Dreamcast, it was considered one of the best fighting games of its day. Now, after a long wait, the sequel is finally here. Behold the spectacle that is Soul Calibur 2 for the GameCube, Xbox, and PlayStation 2. Soul Calibur was one of the first weapon-based fighters of the day. It instantly became an arcade hit, and its popularity only grew with the Dreamcast version. Thankfully, the sequel doesn't stray far from what was clearly a proven formula. Once again, a fighting tournament collecting some of the most powerful weapon masters on Earth has been arranged to decide once and for all who's the best. You'll be able to choose from a variety of fighting arenas where there are 2 ways to win: execute the final blow, or push your opponent off the side. All of your favorites return, including Mitsurugi, the samurai warrior, along with some new faces like the master fencer named Raphael. But even more surprising is that Namco has included one exclusive character for each of the 3 consoles. The GameCube version includes The Legend of Zelda's Link. The PS2 version includes Hayachi from the Tekken series. And last, but certainly not least, the Xbox version sports Todd McFarlane's hit comic book creation, Spawn. McFarlane also designed the look of Necrid, who's in all 3 versions of the game. Besides tournament mode, there are a variety of options available, including arcade, versus mode, time attack, survival, team battle, and a new mission mode that allows you to unlock even more weapons and characters. The controls are smooth, so it shouldn't be long before you're able to hold your own. However, mastering the game takes a bit longer, and while the computer AI is challenging, nothing beats a worthy, intelligent opponent in multiplayer. The developers have taken an if it's not broke, don't fix it approach, so don't expect many surprises. However, now that a Soul Calibur game is available on all 3 platforms, it means even more people will be introduced to simply one of the best fighters around. Being a bounty hunter is a very dangerous profession. With each new job brings a host of inherent dangers. Luckily, Cybernet is here to watch your back in Mace Griffin for the Xbox. So grab a pen and jot down this cheat. While holding the Electro Kosh weapon, quickly press left trigger, right trigger, left trigger, right trigger, A, B, B, A, X, and Y. We've made this perilous job a breeze because you've just unlocked invincibility. That's right, simply walk into any room and take care of business. We hope this cheat helps, and keep watching Cybernet for more awesome tactics. Gaming is a big part of our lives, and so we look for any possible way to enhance the experience. Luckily, there's a slew of companies eager to oblige our every gaming whim with products promising to make playing even more enjoyable. Come with Cybernet now and let us be your guide to some of the newest and most interesting peripherals available. The standard keyboard and mouse configuration has been around since the dawn of PC gaming, but that doesn't mean there haven't been innovations along the way. Mouses have gone optical and even wireless, and now keyboards, like this one by Illuminix, have gone high-tech. Gone are the days of straining your eyes in a dark room because these keys are illuminated. With a flick of a light switch, first-person shooters will never be the same. Influenced from what was found at the neighborhood arcade, the joystick quickly became a desktop favorite. Sadly, early versions couldn't handle the rough movement gamers required on their arcade counterparts. Today, however, joysticks like the Sidewinder Force Feedback from Microsoft can handle anything put in its way. Though relegated primarily to flight sims these days, the joystick still holds a special place in gamers' hearts. And what the joystick is to flight sims, the steering wheel is to racing games. We love Microsoft's Sidewinder Force Feedback series. Simply load the software onto your PC and soon enough, you'll be taking those hairpin turns with ease. With the addition of foot pedals, going out for a Sunday drive is a thing of the past. If all this PC talk has got you console gamers chomping at the bit for your own peripherals, relax. The good folks at Intech have got you covered. Why rely on little TV speakers to capture that big gaming sound? Simply plug in these speakers, complete with a subwoofer base, and get big-time surround sound, putting you right in the middle of the action. Fighting your family members for the use of the TV to play your games? That's come to an end with this 7-inch game screen. With just a few cables, you can play anywhere there's an electrical socket nearby. Just because your console has to be plugged in doesn't mean you have to be. That's right, wireless controllers are the next big thing in gaming. With all the features of a stock controller, this Intech Laser Wireless lets you have complete freedom of movement without accidentally pulling out the wire. But there are still other ways to upgrade your controller. This GameCube Airflow controller from Nyko actually has a built-in fan, so no more sweaty palms when the action gets intense. One of the most innovative gaming accessories comes from Essential Reality. The P5 Virtual Glove looks like something from a science fiction film, but with infrared optics tracking your finger movements, better control is just a touch away. With all these cool gadgets making the gaming experience that much better, you can see why we here at the Cybernet office rarely go outside. What will the future hold for the next generation of peripherals? Keep watching to find out. Next up is a spiky-haired blue ball of adrenaline. Yes, it's Sega's mega-famous mascot who's back in a revamped director's cut version of Sonic Adventure for the GameCube, our Game of the Week. Previously, whenever Sega launched a new console, it was inevitable that they would release a Sonic game as a way to showcase their latest machine. Such was the case 4 years ago when Sega released Sonic Adventure along with their Dreamcast system. The title became a smash success, proving that Sonic was ready to compete against Super Mario in a 3D adventure. As the title suggests, this is a special edition of that former Dreamcast hit. In addition to the core game, there are new levels, 12 classic Game Gear titles, and an all-new mission mode with 60 mini-missions. More importantly, the game itself has made an excellent transition to the GameCube. All the graphics have been enhanced, and the controller lets you perform all manner of twists and turns through the roller coaster type levels. Both the story and the setup remain the same. Dr. Robotnik is back again to destroy the world. He plans to acquire all 7 Chaos Emeralds and then do nasty things until the world is his for the taking. So it's up to Sonic and his 5 pals to save the day. Each of the 30 massive levels has 2 separate parts. You begin in the adventure field where you must explore the surroundings, complete several tasks, and talk to the right character. You're then given access to an action stage, which is where the fun really begins. Sonic Adventure DX Director's Cut is an excellent addition to the Sonic series. It's classic gaming fun for the whole family, and that's why it's our Game of the Week. While there's no shortage of video game heroes, they mostly all fall into the same mold. However, this shape-shifting hero has a look all his own. Get ready for some out-of-this-world sci-fi action. It's Alter Echo for the Xbox and PlayStation 2, and it might just be the most unusual-looking game we've ever laid our eyes on. You play as Nevin, a young man who belongs to a race of people called Shapers, which have the ability to change their shape thanks to a technology called plasting. Nevin visits a planet where a renowned professor claims to have invented an even more powerful means of shape-shifting called echoplasting. When he arrives, he soon discovers the professor has gone mad with his newly developed powers. You'll then take off on a 3D adventure fighting the professor's creations using a plethora of furious fighting combos to even up the odds. Climb walls and avoid enemy detection in stealth form, or show them your supreme firepower in gun form. The more devastating combos you perform, the more points you'll receive. Later on, an upgrade station will be made available where you can get new weapons and attacks. However, the title makes a strong effort to be more than just a mindless fighter. Your puzzle-solving skills will also be called into play in order to allow Nevin to progress through the game. By solving the puzzles, the player will often open a hidden doorway or raise a bridge. While Alter Echo has an original look, sadly, the rest of the game isn't as inspired. The innovative combat system offers a few moments of thrills, but the novelty soon wears thin, and the title morphs into just another action game. Still, for those who enjoy an occasional journey into the realm of the unusual, Alter Echo may be a somewhat pleasant surprise. It's been a blast, but it looks like we've got to go. Cybernet will be back soon, though, with even more fantastic games and features from around the world. Don't forget to keep in touch via email. So until next time, here's more action from Chaos Legion, compliments of Cybernet.
Than this, and you don't get much more retro than this. Check that out. More of that later on in the show, but right now